right, first question will go to Cease.
Yeah, Gary, you always talk before. I know you do these mock brackets. You always worry about the whole draw. So what about your whole region? What about 1 through 16 on your side?
There's some interesting matchups there. I've kept up with Troy the last 3 to 4 years, not just this year, but I kept up with Troy and I had them down as a 15 seed. I didn't necessarily had us as a 2 seed, but I also knew one thing that was going to happen. There's no way the committee was going to let Charlie Cream be right. Okay. That wasn't going to happen. I had all 16 in, but I knew there would be some shuffle because nationally, those 6 teams were probably the first 6 teams that started the year in the net. I'm talking about Connecticut, Stanford, South Carolina, Baylor, NC State, all very well deserving. And you put Louisville in there and you put Maryland in there. All 8 of us were very deserving, but a committee is 9 people, and a committee has got to protect the nest of sometimes their area. It was a hard call to make. Do we deserve? What does body of work mean? What if I would have lost to South Carolina but won the SEC tournament? I don't think I would have deserved being a number 1 by winning the SEC tournament and losing at home to South Carolina. Okay? I wouldn't deserve it. The bracket, I'd have to look if somebody will pull me that real quick, Brandon, that whole 16 for I can look at it. Some interesting matchups in there. I've got politically correct on everything I say, or it's used against me and I'll act like a sore loser and all that type of stuff. I had a feeling we would possibly be a 2, only because I know how committees work. And a lot of times it's what have you done for me lately and who are you competing with? Baylor easily could have been a 1. Maryland definitely could have been a 1. The only one that was probably going to stay at the 2 line was Louisville because NC State beat them at Louisville, but NC State, remember, they had a COVID problem and missed a couple of ball games, and it didn't seem to hurt anybody in the rankings. But we're going to take it. You know, it's funny. This is the 5th number 2. But I don't know if I can say this politically, but normally when I go up to rent a car, I'm always stopping at Avis. They've always been number 2. And I go to Enterprise and I go to National. Maybe that's just the way Gary Blair has been brought up. I was probably second on a lot of jobs. I knew I was probably second when I got the A&M job, second when I got the Arkansas job. I don't mind. I love to go out and show people what this team can do and what this coaching staff and I can do to put together a game plan. That's what I'm really proud of. I'm not one of the blue bloods yet, but I'm in the conversation. And that's all you can do sometimes is be in the conversation. If you look at my record all the way through, I think we have helped decide who the national champion was going to be, whether we won it or the team that knocked us out has won it over the years, from Connecticut and to Baylor to a lot of them. So it's hard to just be totally in love, but I'm a very realistic person. I know how committees work. And I also know sometimes the body of work does not take up for what you have done in your last ball game. I'm sure if we had beat Georgia, got to the finals against South Carolina, we would be a 1. But that's on us. That's on me. Okay? We've got to do a better job. Georgia outplayed us in the second half. They deserved the game. And we've learned a lot and we've worked on a lot since then to try to make sure that doesn't happen to us early in the conference, early in the SEC tournament. This team is still very, very hungry. Now, other than that, Cease, that's my long-winded answer as usual.
That's a lot of things. Thanks, Gary.
All right, Daryl.
Coach, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you've got a 1 or a 2 or 15 by your name, does it? I mean,
It only
you still gotta-
matters if you're hosting the first and second round, which nobody is. This tournament, Daryl, whoever wins this tournament has been the team that's been able to adjust to protocol, been able to adjust to COVID, been able to adjust to all the emotional thing that 18 to 22-year-olds have had to go through. And we have done it as well as anybody. But we have not looked for excuses or opts out or this injury or that injury. We've said, let's bring it on. Every game is important to us. And I think that's why we have been such a good road team over the years, over this year particularly, is every game's a championship for us. I don't have a red shirt year, okay? Every game is a championship for me. I just want to keep going just like a Tom Brady without talent.
All right, we'll next go to Anna.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering, you guys play at a neutral location in San Antonio, but you're not too far from home. Do you think this tournament location plays in your favor?
Yes, I think anytime we could have played in El Paso or Midland, it would have worked in our favor because we feel good, and it's also good for our parents, particularly the ones that are in state, to be able to travel, to be able to see in person instead of on television. I think we will have a lot of following down there from the other teams that are not in the tournament or just the relatives. Everything about San Antonio we love, okay? We love the city, whether there's a tournament there or not. I love the city. And I'm looking forward to it. And make sure you mention Sahara Jones, our freshman, is from San Antonio. That might be, I had her speak to our team on Saturday. What is San Antonio like? Because a lot of our out-of-state or out-of-country kids, they've never been there before. So she gave a little 3 to 4 minute talk about San Antonio, the hospitality, the river, all the good things down there. So I'm looking forward to being able to bring her back.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Sue.
Hey, Coach. Now, obviously, would have preferred to win last time, but I know you'd said in your presser after that game that you're going to learn some things from that game. What did you all learn after that loss, and then how what has changed over the last 7 days? Excuse me, 8 days.
No, you remember that game, we were up 56-51. She called a 30-second timeout, and it went to hell in a basket real quick. We gave up six straight points, all layups after that. And that gave them the confidence that they had in the first half. That's when you get somebody down, you've got to finish the job. So the game was more or less lost in the third quarter more than the fourth quarter. We should have got separation. We didn't do it. That's on me. I'm the coach. And in the fourth quarter, they made every play and we made every mistake, and Georgia deserved everything. And I think the committee has shown that they deserve it. And I think that's why they're a 3 seed, and they will be a hard out in this tournament because they're a team of seniors just like ourselves.
And you guys are approaching this this week, this next game in a different way than you were you said the third season. You're approaching the third season now differently than you were the second season.
Oh, this season is you go for the throat early. You don't sit there and just blend in. We have been a slow starting team just about the whole last month and a half. We cannot afford a slow starting team. I'm the only one that sat there and watched at Stanford when a 16 beat a 1. That was going to be the press conference, which I was fixing to talk about. But all of a sudden now we're playing a 15. But I was there because I'm the lowest seed at Arkansas to ever get to the Final Four as a 9 seed. So we watched it happen after we beat the 8 seed. And I remember if you start scouting Iowa State and Michigan State too early, every game is a championship. And I guarantee you, Troy will be built up just like they're coming from Athens with a big machine and everything. I will give Troy so much respect. And that's all we're going to worry about is Troy. And they're well coached. They've done a good job. And they got balanced scoring. And that's exactly what we have as well.
Thank you.
All right. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last question with Mike Lucas because Coach has another obligation. But Coach, also, we're playing in Austin. Just to let you know. You didn't say anything, but we just learned that we're playing in Austin.
I'll be damned. Excuse me. You didn't hear that.
But Mike, last question.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. But Coach, when you guys won it all in 2011, you were a 2 seed, right? That is.
Yeah, we were a 2 seed. We were a 2 seed, I think, 4 straight years.
So with that experience from being the 2 seed, is there any advantage to maybe not being the number 1 target in a certain region, or is it at this point just go out and win?
Let's go out and win. What else can they do to us? But now it's an hour closer for our fans to our parents that can come to the game to go to Austin if they're from Dallas or Houston. But we're playing in a good arena. We won in Austin earlier this year. And so does that mean we play the second round of the game there too, or just the first round? Just the first. Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Gare. Thanks, Brandon.